आप प्रवत सुन वो कन्वर्सेशन सुन पाए या you joined late? I don't know.
I heard your conversation. Seemed very weird that you were talking to someone and there was no one on the other side. So it's like something.
I was on the other side.
But I couldn't see you on the other one. So I was hearing Vivek speak. So I was messaging him. And like ये विवेक को कुछ हो गया है कि विवेक बात कर रहा है but किसी कोई नहीं है. And he is responding to comments, but there are no comments that I can hear.
Yeah. So
but
actually wanted to record, but the free version doesn't let you record. So this is getting recorded on this one.
Got it.
I don't know, Prabhu, you got a chance to listen to the whole context, but we can just do a quick summary of what we discussed.
Biocon, right? So let's go over it. I think, Prabhu, you were not very sure why, like, on that particular day, both Vivek and I said that Biocon probably is not a good bet. So we can summarize very quickly.
Yes.
Just a second. I'll just open up the doc, which just one second. So this is the story of Biocon. And then we'll quickly go to the screener as well. Can you see my screen? So this is more of a history on Biocon, kya karta hai, nahi karta hai, and all that. But if you look at the major segment which Biocon is into, is one is generic medicines. This includes over-the-counter medicines and medicines with generic formulations. Biosimilars is more of biological therapies, drugs for complex severe diseases like cancer and all. Novel biologics is more of these are like serums, vaccines, for which we don't have a perfect solution right now in this world. Research services is like other medical research companies actually tend to outsource it to Biocon. These are few areas which Biocon is into. If you look at it, the major products are insulin. The insulin is quite famous in India. And then they are into cancer therapy products. Yes, most of it is like cancer therapy. Okay. Now, let's look at like financial results and on we have already discussed. Like FY23 ka, FY25 ka is not, I mean FY24 Q3 is not that great. But what we really discussed and what I wanted to show you was these numbers. Okay, now this basically summarizes last 5 years ka story.
Okay.
Okay. Look at cash ratio, quick ratio, current ratio. Okay. Now, if you look at it, one thing is very clear is that there is a lot of inconsistency. You don't see any pattern out anywhere. Okay. Even the cash ratio is like March 24th, it was 0.168, 23 में 0.453, 20 में 0.249. So this is inconsistency around. What it tells you, especially 0.168, it has fallen. What it tells you is कि basically जो short-term liabilities है, that includes salary, that includes short-term loans, that include operating expenses. वो मीट करने में कंपनी को बहुत challenges हो रहा है और वो काफी inconsistent भी रहा. And March 24 तक they had dipped to the least.
Fair.
Okay, that is one. The other thing I wanted to also show you was inventory turnaround ratio. What this tells is कि inventory turnaround ratio again inconsistent है. That is one thing. But by March 24 ये बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया 1.97. So what basically inventory turnover ratio is telling you is कि by the time आपका फैक्ट्री से प्रोडक्ट निकलता है, वेयरहाउस में जाता है, मार्केट होता है एंड वो कंज्यूमर तक पहुंचता है, that turnover is very huge. मतलब basically it's stagnant at in this channel scheme of things. मतलब basically in layman terms बिक नहीं रहा है.
And 1.97 means that in a year they are churning that inventory twice.
हाँ,
Okay.
around. And दूसरा is days in working capital. Now all this is the story is tied up because days in working capital is, if you look at it, what they're saying is, again, this is inconsistent, but eventually what it means is कि मेरा वर्किंग कैपिटल जो है अब वो धीरे धीरे नेगेटिव होते जा रहा है.
So they have no working capital left.
लेफ्ट. ठीक है, तो ऑल ऑफ दीज आर नॉट गुड साइंस फॉर द कंपनी, क्योंकि बेसिकली व्हाट इट मींस इज कि वन, तुम्हारा प्रोडक्ट उतना बिक नहीं रहा है एंड यू आर लूजिंग आउट टू द कॉम्पिटिटर्स, वो शेल्फ पे बैठा हुआ है. That is one thing I wanted to tell you. Now, Som sir will explain about the screen. I'll put it to the screener. He will talk to you about some other interesting areas. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Som sir.
So let's go. So basically what we check about this, first the balance sheet, really, right? P&L and balance sheet.
Did I lose him? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, I lost the effect. That's fine. Yes. Yeah. So if you go and Vivek, can you hear me? Okay. Can we go to the profit and loss and balance sheet? Let's look at how the business is doing generally from sales and so quarterly results, right? So if you see, look at the profit, the inconsistency, right?
Profit before tax, net profit.
Yes, net profit.
Okay.
Okay. One is your sales is kind of stagnant since last, I don't know, 2023 at least, right? And even before that, there's some increase, but after that it has kind of stagnated around 3,500 plus minus some CR, right? And then accordingly, of course, there are some expenses, which means your profit is also stagnant or coming down, right? It is again like very inconsistent. Right? So overall, quarterly also, there's not a lot of movement in terms of growth from sales and profit perspective. So that's one. Now, the other thing we looked at, cash flow. So the idea is, unless the business is growing, the price will not grow, right? Look at the cash flow. Right? Again, very inconsistent. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, right? So there's not like significant positive cash flow. Which kind
of from operating activities seems to be broadly growing, no? Am I reading it wrong?
Yes, but then you see cash from investing activity is more investment than you're getting from operating activity overall, like at times going negative.
So basically doing a lot of investing activities at R&D.
R&D hoga plus I don't know. This would Vivek, would it include the capex and all that, right? When they are
I
probably
think yes.
Yeah. So we may have to double click on. So can you expand both these things? Cash from operating activity and yes. Next one. Inventory, right? Investing activity. Yeah, that should give you the details, right? Yes. So where it is going up, right? So investment purchase. So maybe like investment purchases, this is like they are buying some companies, is it?
Fixed asset purchases, it could be buying companies, but probably we'll have to double click on it.
Yes.
But again, and if it is buying financial instruments or something like that, see dividends received and all.
Right.
It's good to have this as a digital income, but that's not their core business anyway.
Correct.
Right.
So investing activities broadly plus minus stays the same. Okay.
Yes. But so the idea is, Prabhu, this over a longer duration, is there a positive cash flow or not? Right? Are they getting money or not? Right?
So cash flow has also gone negative. Your inventory days have increased.
All this is aside, let's look at one of the capital allocation numbers. So how efficiently you are able to utilize the capital, right? So see, at the end of it, the idea is business where you're investing X amount of money, are you generating sufficient return or not? Which kind of summarizes everything, right? So that should be return numbers, which would be ratios, right? Vivek? No. Can you scroll down somewhere?
Which
Yes.
one? Sorry.
So return number, return on equity, capital employed, right? So let's look at say ROC and
So ROC has also decreased,
yes,
and I think what we can also talk about is Somsar, which you discussed about was peers
PS, right? So
and P ratio.
yes, right. So again, अगर आप return देखोगे प्रभु, तो it is not
P is already
great.
very high.
P is already very
P
high.
is very high in contrast to the return which it is generating. So if you look at something like a Cipla, where it is generating a better return and the P ratio is also low. So probably which indicates that this may have a higher upside.
Okay.
So basically, considering all of this at this point of time, doesn't seem to be a like
A good investment.
good investment. Yeah.
Got it. But why is their operating income increasing? एक बार आप वापस ऑपरेटिंग इनकम पे जाओगे ऊपर ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग इनकम सॉरी कैश फ्लो में जाओ ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लो कैश फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटी वो एक्सपैंड करो so एक मिनट लेट मी रीड receivables of this much inventory is this much payables is cash so they've not paid a lot so there's high payables but they
Net cash flow is negative.
नेट कैश फ्लो तो वो इन्वेस्टिंग और उसमें नेगेटिव है ना इन्वेस्टिंग एंड फाइनेंसिंग का बहुत
So this
नेगेटिव
is from the cash flow from operating
नहीं
activity.
नेट कैश फ्लो इज इंक्लूडिंग द कैश
And your working capital also, if you look at it, it's very negative.
तो दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग टू कीप द कंपनी रनिंग
हाँ, अपने पॉकेट से पैसा जा रहा है.
receivables is minus 2417 they've received more than they have receivables is minus 2417 is they've received more than they were due
Receivables is minus 2417 is my take is they have not received what they were supposed to receive.
okay so they've not collected the cash
Yes.
inventory 886 minus 886 है payables loan advances other working capital items working capital charges direct okay okay got it.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I think this is not worth in the investment right now. Somsar, you want to take a shot on Tata Motors?
Yeah, you can share Tata Motor on screen. So Tata Motor, I have not spent a lot of time. Tata Motor is very interesting. एक बार आप स्क्रीनर पे जाएंगे क्या? So yeah, let's open it. Then we'll talk.
Yes. So Tata Motors, let's go to the results.
Yes, so Tata Motors, right, at least my take, Vivek is right. So I did not get a lot of time, right? First, let's look at return numbers, right? Capital allocation. So go to ROC, ROE and all that, right? Yes, it's okay. Can you scroll up? Yes. Ignore the last 1 year, I think, which is wherein the problem is. So what's happening is, return on equity, right? Last year is 49%, 3 years is 15%. 10 years wherein there's a problem, so which we can ignore for now, right? Profit growth. 10 years is 8%, 5 years 93%, 3 years 128%. For now it's 58%. Problem, the stock price, if you see last one is 19%, and a lot of it is happening probably is there's a slowdown, right? So the quarterly results for the Tata Motors is not really meeting the expectation, and which is what is resulting in a lot of the stock price crash. I haven't had time to look at the specific balance sheet or quarterly results. So we
But
can
if
go
you
over
look
it.
at from March 2019,
Huh.
so there has been a turnaround of sorts. You see, March 2023, and the bounce back has been very strong
Yes.
compared to even March 14 pre-pandemic.
Actually, yes.
Even
So,
if you look at operating profits, matlab,
yes.
there has been a dip, but March 2024 तक का, if you look at it,
Hmm.
it's quite like on the higher side, increasing trend में है. Or
Right.
heavy increases, you see, 24 to 31, 31 to 59 year on year.
Yes.
Sales
I think
also
it
has
is.
increased drastically.
Yes.
Expenses relatively, matlab, there has been a bump up, but if you look at the pattern, consistency hai. And I understand that because of the new technology or EV and this and that, I'm sure they are spending on R&D and stuff like that, तो थोड़ा bump up है, but फिर भी consistent है. If you look at it, March 23rd, 24th में expenses same रहा है, but आपका sales बढ़ गया है बहुत ज़्यादा. In fact, profit also
Also,
has increased way up, but your
yeah.
expenses have been consistent.
So this matches with the stock price also, by the way. The stock price has been going up till March 2024. If you open just the stock price, after that it has stagnated, or at least it is not meeting the expectation. It is going down. So go to 3 year price. Huh. So March is till March there's a rally, or at least it is going up, and then suddenly started. Then March to like whatever the time period is, August, it's kind of sideways, and then it is crashing. This happened after the results, quarterly results.
Roughly 40% के आसपास there is a dip
Yes.
from the top. I think one thing to also probably it's good to look at कि PE ratio compared to other competitors कैसा है. Maybe
So interestingly, in
market
this
is
case, if there is any turnaround, right, there is significant upside. Like P is 8.25.
PE is 8.25 and returns are still very good.
Yes. So the issue is recent quarters. So if we can see some turnaround, there is significant upside. But I don't know when I have to look at other numbers. बाकी ठीक से नहीं देखा है मैंने इसका.
I think one reason could be, uh, I'm just assuming, is because like last few quarters से inflation high है and people are not probably spending that much. तो sales, लेकिन sales numbers, I don't know, March 2025 का क्या है?
Q4 का numbers. So Q4. So I think that is where the problem is. So if you see Tata Motors Q4 results, yes, I got the results, right? Yes. So Q4 FY24. No, where is Q4? Q4 results. Yes.
सेल्स इज 113575 उसी पे है ना
Yes.
शायद
Yes.
पीयर से नीचे स्क्रॉल डाउन में भी ये है ना
ये दिसंबर 24 का है.
हाँ,
उसके
113.
बाद का तो
So if
आया
you
नहीं होगा
compare it with Q3,
हाँ.
हाँ नहीं, but so हाँ.
So there
So
is
if you see,
so obviously it probably it has not met market expectations, but sir ऐसा भी बुरा नहीं है, मतलब it's okay, the increase is not as per trend.
yes. So I don't know why इतना correction का reason मुझे समझ नहीं है. So it, of course, I mean the idea was it went down because it did not meet the expectation. And generally आप profit देखोगे तो वो 17, 15, 12, 13, right? But इतना ज़्यादा correction, I don't know why. Like, so it's not as if it was very expensive and it has come down. अगर PE देखोगे तो it is like what, 8 or 9? No clue why this much correction. So उसके लिए I think we may have to
but
look at.
aren't the competitors mentioned wrong for Tata Motors? Like Ashok Leyland, Ola Electric, Force and SML Issue are not the consumer segment, at least competitors. More like Suzuki and Hyundai are.
हाँ, true. More like
Right,
Maruti.
right.
Yeah.
So we should look against those.
So we can see
True.
Mahindra.
But there is another trend also. If you look at December 2023, um, net profit was 7145 crores. And now if you look at 2024, 5578. So that is roughly somewhere around near to 30% drop.
But if you December 2023 में tax percentage कम है. It is some tax benefit that they have claimed.
हाँ, that could be the case as well.
Because everything else, sales is stable,
हाँ,
expense is slightly increasing, but tax is 7% instead of 36%. So कोई tax credit.
even in March, if you look at it, minus 87,
वो भी
some
tax credit है.
tax credit.
ये दोनों tax credit है.
हाँ. So if you remove that advantage, then it's pretty consistent. मतलब
Hmm.
Profit before tax देख लो consistent है.
हाँ, so then we may have to look at Vivek ki what's happening, or
हाँ.
because then there is significant upside. मतलब massive correction हो चुका है.
Can you add Suzuki or someone to that PE ratio, Vivek?
I can check. So I have it open, right? So Suzuki ka PE ratio, so everything else is 27, Mahindra is 32, Hyundai is 23. There is a Mercury EV Tech is 533 and Hindustan Motors 70, right? So it's fairly like low. See, again, the PE is not the only number we should look at.
Got it.
But
still, basically इसका PE better है.
yes. So Tata Motors, I don't know. So one of the thing is the automobile sector overall has been under a lot of pressure in last 1-2 quarters, right? So if you see by and large, despite positive news and all that, there's been some correction overall because लोग गाड़ियां नहीं खरीद रहे हैं. I don't think so sales are as good. If with the budget, like if there is some saving and people buy car, there will be definitely some upside.
But considering the P ratio and the return, I think, and we don't know the reason कि इतना dip क्यों किया last 6 months में, but assuming it's one off, it's still a good buying opportunity.
Actually,
ये क्या है कि
historically, Vivek, can we historically look at the PE? Can you go to trading view and check the PE का graph?
Tata
Historically,
Motors here includes Jaguar and Land Rover, no? What tool is this, Vivek?
trading view.
Huh?
Trading view.
Trading View.
हाँ.
अच्छा.
2019 से if you look at it, ये P ratio है. So starting with 14, 6, 4. I think वो जो January 23 it peaked at around 14.933 and then there is a downtrend.
So अगर historically if it has been whatever is the range, right, it probably will come back to that. मतलब Tata Motors will not suddenly crash, right? So the demand will pick up
So
at some point.
at least मतलब what you're saying is कि मतलब at least it will get back to around 14.
Yeah. So PE तो for sure मतलब like the moment there is some recovery in demand, it should come back to at least that range. मतलब so this is not one of those stock की multi-bagger, but definitely right. Should give some. अभी कितना है 8 point something to 14
अभी
right?
8 point something है. So if what you're
6
saying
right?
is
So 60
14,
70%.
14 would be at least double the price of what we are
Yeah.
getting now. So अगर अभी around 700 के आसपास होवर कर रहा है, so what we expect is कि 1400 पे वापस के आसपास चला जाएगा, which is almost doubling your capital. So this seems like something which can be analyzed further for investments. At least initial screener तो पास करता है.
Yeah.
So what I also wanted to discuss was that I will show you something which happened very recently. Yes. So what is happening is, and this just happened before uh, a week before budget. It's basically an initiative from RBI to go ahead and increase liquidity. So basically, what it means is they have issued bonds, and I think they will also print lot of notes. And जितने भी गवर्नमेंट बैंक्स एंड जो अपना बैंकिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसके थ्रू दे इंटेंड टू इन्फ्यूज 60,000 crores liquidity into the market. Now, more and more loans will be, at least the intent would be to ensure कि more and more loans are up for grabs. पीपल के लिए क्रेडिट लेना थोड़ा आसान हो जाएगा, लिक्विडिटी बढ़ जाएगा. इट्स अ क्लासिक केस ऑफ मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी एक्सपेंशन कि लिक्विडिटी इन्फ्यूज करो एंड देन companies and corporates would start taking up loans. Obviously, they will increase their capacity. Jobs increase hoga. And as jobs will increase, obviously inflation will increase hoga. But eventually the intent is to increase jobs and demand. And this goes in tandem with आज जो बजट में हुआ.
Sorry, this goes in tandem with
Aj, the thing which has happened in budget. So basically, the intent is to increase jobs and
increase funds of the market.
Liquidity in the market.
Hmm.
So as they increase liquidity, company will go for expansion plans. Getting loans would be easier, and demand will eventually. The intent is to increase demand. And obviously, this will in turn increase your inflation levels also.
Yep.
And I think next rate cut jab hoga, to propagate this further, they will for आपका retail consumers also, they will ensure कि rate cuts हो, जो कि पिछले 2-3 साल से नहीं हुआ.
So all three of them will lead to
heavy consumption increase, heavy demand, and heavy inflation.
But for the short term, the market will rise.
Even for the long term, the market will rise. In the sense, as long as they continue doing this. The point is, even if inflation increases, probably markets would still continue to rise. At least for this year, I see it rising. Let's see. So I think overall it's a good opportunity to invest. Initially, the forecast was very bleak for this year. But now with this and whatever has happened, things have changed.
Actually, in the same line, Michael, I was watching some detail. Just the video, right? So the previous RBI governor, the focus was to control the inflation, not necessarily growth, which probably will change with the new RBI governor, right? So while we may see a lot of inflation in medium to long term, but yes, I think there will be focus on growth.
Right.
While he has not said anything, I could not find anything wherein like he's making some comment or.
But his actions are
ideas,
speaking
but I
now.
think
With this infusing this kind of liquidity, his actions are speaking. As you said, अब वो basically liquidity infuse कर रहा है. तो
good question, right? So if money flows in, right, like how does it impact the banking sector, like the banks which are lending, like big banks?
It will happen through banks. All of this propagation and supply chain of finance. So the other thing is that banks would go a bit, easy credit available हो जाएगा. Banks would go a bit, like they would increase their targets. They will also ensure. So this propagation will also be अभी जो next जो rate meeting होगा RBI का, I am sure they are going to cut rates. all indicators are there.
No, more than rate, right? So like, I don't know. I have to look. I was planning to look at it today because I don't have the detail. One of the thing was again with the previous governor in the last 1 year or more than a year. What he's trying to do is the credit became difficult, not because the money is not available, but also wanted to ensure like the default rate and all that, right? So being very careful with like who you're giving the
Huh.
loan to,
Those
etc.
guards will be lowered down as well.
So the idea, and I don't know whether that was the reason he kind of was moved out or his term was ending, but that is one of the expectation or hypothesis with the new governor. Some of these things will ease up, right? So probably more money in the system, uh, uh, easier loans, right? So less guardrails. Again, I mean that will result in defaults and all that. But again, like in the short term, definitely the consumption will go up. The interesting thing to understand is what all sector will benefit from it.
Acha, the RBI meeting is next week, 5th to 7th.
So everything is probably in
Planned
sequence.
simultaneously.
So that
Planned.
will happen, right? Usme that I'm fairly positive, right? So they'll switch from the existing policy to do more growth oriented policy. That is like a very, I mean, that is expected and I think that's what is going to happen, right? But how do you benefit from it, or which sector will benefit from it?
There are sectors which are, for example, consumer electronics. I mean, think of things which people would buy from their savings, which they are not doing currently. Automobile, consumer electronics, um, even मेरे को लगता है medical sector will benefit a lot.
Does the budget today say anything which sector will benefit, or which sector is the focus for the government?
There was FMCG went up. There was another sector.
The FMCG went up because we got tax benefit.
FMCG
right, so
went up
that will-
because of consumption.
डायरेक्ट आप ज्यादा पार्ले-जी खाओगे टाइप्स वाला है.
हाँ, so वो तो ऊपर जाएगा ही जाएगा, right? But is this enough to drive auto sector recovery? I don't know.
Actually, auto sector mein the thing is that for EVs, she has uh, done a lot of excise duty cuts on lithium batteries and all the components which are used to build lithium
Some
batteries.
30 odd components came
30
out
odd components.
covered, yes.
So if you include all of that, so there is a huge focus on EV. So I think EV segment may probably gain something from it. Again, that coming back to Tata Motors, again Tata Motors will gain from it.
So look at both Amar Raja and Excite went up by 4.5%, 6%.
So I think overall, matlab, based on our discussion today, matlab, three things are key. One, from a Biocon perspective, we don't think it's the right. It currently it's not having the right business parameters. It's not trending positive, and it's not worth investing the capital at this point of time. Tata Motors, it looks promising. The P ratio also is quite low at this point of time. Returns are high. Some of the other key parameters like net profit, sales are pretty consistent. And with this EV push, probably it will gain. So I think that could be something that needs to be looked into if you want to invest. And third thing is that this infusing liquidity by RBI, tax cuts, and in future I hope there will be a rate cut. Everything is focused on ensuring that the growth engine gets the momentum. So I think overall, if you look at it, it's a good time to invest in the market at this point of time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wait for one more week.
Okay.
No, but
Okay,
jokes
sir,
apart, no, jokes apart. I think there is push for growth. I mean, there's no other option. How well that works. So one of the thing probably we'll figure out in the short to medium term. So while liquidity is there, वो लोग कैसा खर्च करेंगे कि savings में डालेंगे and all that. That is something I think we'll have to figure out. But I think general direction is to drive low
And also to
consumption
one of the
environment.
questions that how will you cover the deficit which has been caused because of these income tax slabs? I mean, the change in slabs and the relief which we have given. The thing is that the initial estimates which I just read somewhere is about 1 lakh crore of deficit. Now we'll have to see whether that gets covered through GST and the demand which probably they are trying to increase. That is to be
They'll have to figure out, right? So I think they have been very consistent about bringing it down, and they've been doing it for last, I don't know, whatever quarters. So it'll be interesting to see. They can't just suddenly change that also. So I'm not sure. So hence I'm saying like we'll probably wait for a peak.
that is to be seen. ठीक है. We'll see how.
So whatever announcement happens in one more week, right? The short term and long term capital gain will not change, right? Or like can that also change?
So short-term, long-term capital gains hasn't changed for us.
No, I'm
For
saying like
FIIs, they have increased the long-term capital gain from 10% to 12.5%, and that's why
but
you see that market has gone down today. I mean, अभी जो भी है, but जो initial red था was because कि they were quite upset.
no, but I'm saying 1 week down the line, right? So the next announcement that is there for tax code, do you think that capital gains rate can change?
So next week, though, sir, she is going to present a bill in the parliament detailing out direct taxes. Or I don't think if there would be a change as such from the broader framework which he has mentioned. अगर long term या short term में change होता तो अभी mention कर देती. Is my take, because that's a big thing. अगर वो change हो रहा है तो मतलब market would have crashed. अगर increase हो रहा है.
I mean, they may decide to do it 1 week down the line after Delhi election. Right?
हाँ, but then that the point of फिर budget का gravity चला जाएगा.
But actually, if they mention half of LTCG increase, it would be very weird that you do one this week and one next week. That is too much uncertainty for the market.
हाँ.
So either they would have not said anything, and then it was okay. But otherwise, unlikely that they will mention something about LTCG every week.
No, but I think with this change, right? So if just taking them at the face value, right? There is no fine print. Then that like the number is fairly large. Like 12 lakh में बहुत लोग आ जाते हैं, right? Like majority of the taxpayers are in that bracket. The amount will add up, right? So roughly for 25 lakh, your saving is around 1 lakh, right? So it's a significant amount, right? कहीं से तो वो gap fill करनी.
That's a good question. Let's see what is maybe the part that we missed is.
No, I don't think so. They'll increase the borrowing and all that, right? On the hope that I think like all said and done, like they have been very good at it. I mean, which is not a bad thing, by the way, right? So I think they've been very conservative about this, not doing this. I don't know. It's unlikely they'll change that policy.
So then the other bit where they can actually get money is from RBI grants and dividends. Which is like an open place. No, in the past also they have gotten 1 lakh crore types from RBI grants. And that is the exact deficit gap that is showing up.
Actually, the only thing so the calculation could be, the other thing, the calculation could be, this would increase the consumption and then eventually probably would increase GST collection and other things, right?
That's the understanding that should happen.
Yeah, so that's one option.
But one thing is that once, I mean, it is to be seen, but Um, I don't know if there are any other incomes which the government has apart from RBI ka dividends. For example, I tell you,
Divestment.
huh?
Divestment.
Divestment is one. Defense income has increased a lot, like revenue from defense. But I don't know if उसमें government entities कितना involved है और private sector का कितना है. So 10 years back, कुछ few thousands of crores से this year it's been 25,000 crore जो annual revenue है. Like it has been multiple fold increase in defense. Um, Again from this thing also, ISRO also we are getting quite a bit of revenue by launching all these foreign satellites. Well, I don't know कि वो कितना contribute करता है. Maybe it's just a drop in the ocean, but ऐसा ऐसा कितना सारा और है ventures I don't know, which is really profit making and working out.
Yes, sir, but this is very sudden, right? So this gets applicable immediately for next year. I don't think so suddenly these income, like there's no stepwise increase in this, right? Unless like they're trying to close the gap through something else. I don't know.
But I'm sure कुछ तो सोचा होगा because they don't want to increase the deficit also.
Yes.
And they don't want to increase borrowing also. मतलब तो कुछ तो सोचा होगा. मतलब you don't want to just keep borrowing, वरना वो neighboring country वाला हाल हो जाएगा. Okay, I think next week, sir, we should take एक तो Titan है because I think it's growing मतलब awesome.
Titan
20%
seems
year on year दे
very,
रहा है.
Titan, I don't know, seems very expensive, Vivek, right? If you look at the PE and all
But
that,
sir,
I don't know.
उसका P का आप history देखिएगा वो expensive ही, but it's still giving 20% year on year. Well, we'll have to look into it. Maybe one thing, it's a curious case.
Titan
I'll
also
check that.
includes Tanishq.
हाँ, Titan
Yes,
includes
yes,
Tanishq.
Tanishq,
So
yes.
there's a very big jewelry brand to it, and
हाँ,
the P
Titan includes Tanishq. It includes your watches का जो segment है. Also, it includes your eyewears.
Ha. But since gold is expected to grow, Titan can actually grow because gold is growing. Direct market, direct impact. As
I mean, with consumption going up, it probably can further again like grow. और लोग ये सब तो खरीदेंगे ही ज्वेलरी वगैरह.
हाँ.
And like middle class primarily will go to Titan. So this is not like, I mean, people in that segment goes to Titan. Okay.
Tanishq is a huge brand, especially in 2-tier and 3-tier cities. मतलब super brand है वो.
Tier 1 cities में भी.
हाँ, Tier 1 cities में भी है और Tier 1 cities में तो फिर भी competition है. You have Joy Alucas, you have so many other jewelry brands, TVZ and all. But Tier 2, Tier 3 में मतलब kind of a monopoly है and huge brand. So I think probably we can look into Titan. I think वो see okay. ठीक है, folks.
Okay.
मैं रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप कर रहा हूँ.
Yes.